I would like to welcome all attending and those watching remotely to this meeting of the New York State Unemployment Insurance Appeal Board. This is our second meeting of 2024, and we are located today at the board's headquarters in Menands, New York. I wish to thank all of those attending and those watching for your interest in the operations and management of the UIAB. We are an adjudicated body with jurisdiction over disputes regarding eligibility and payments concerning New York State unemployment insurance. Thank you for your continued interest in this consequential work. My name is Geraldine Riley, and I'm the chair of the New York State Unemployment Insurance Appeal Board. This meeting has been noticed, the draft agenda has been published, and the minutes from the previous January 17, 2024 meeting have been circulated to the members, and the public has been invited to observe in real time. This meeting is being recorded and will be available along with the minutes on our website, uiappeals.ny.gov. I would like to begin this meeting by expressing my thanks to all of those who have supported the work of the board in addressing the many challenges that we face. I would like to thank the staff and leadership of all of our offices, and of course, and primarily, I would like to thank my colleagues on the board for their work, encouragement, and support. For this meeting, I would like to again acknowledge the myriad technological innovations which this year has brought. Since we last met, we have accomplished, through the leadership of our chief ALJ, all of our principal ALJs, and our director, a virtual hearing environment for the convenience of our public and the staff. You will hear more about this exciting project during the executive presentations, but I can assure you that 2024 will continue to be a year of technological advancement, which will change many aspects of how we do our work, all in the interest of serving our customers and our employees in a smarter and in a better way. Virtual hearings have been implemented, and UISIM and other innovations are on the horizon. As ever, it is my hope that this consistent schedule of board meetings presents a board that is proactive and accessible, and a board which aggressively addresses the 21st century challenges that we face and that we anticipate. And that we address those tasks with optimism and confidence in the skill and effort of our many talented employees. Each board member and each staff member is serious and interested and industrious, engaged in their approach to the important work that we do, and I sincerely thank them for that. I want to acknowledge and thank our Chief Administrative Law Judge Tracy Covey, who's based in Syracuse, but who is here today in Menands, and who has worked tirelessly to advance the board in our mission. Tracy assumed this role in the time of a pandemic and has been a judicious leader ever since. I want to acknowledge Lee Brown, our hardworking, very skilled, and dedicated executive director who is with us today in Menands. Lee is a beacon here for demonstrating leadership, fairness, and dedication, qualities which we all so highly value. So thank you, Lee. And I wish to thank Principal ALJ for Appeals Christopher Tate, who is with me today in Menands, for his work in these very challenging times. I want to thank Heidi Kelly, who is taking minutes, and Amy Higby, Nastasia Tripp, and Paul Homan, who will be assisting with our technology today. After our meeting today, we'll have a short training session for board members on new aspects of the labor law, delivered by Senior ALJ Ned Maines, who will be retiring shortly after so many years of dedicated service. So thank you, Ned. Before the call to order, I would like to remind members, staff, and the public that our next public meeting of the board will be held Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Thank you. I'm now calling the meeting to order. Our first order of business is a roll call.
Thank you, Chair Riley. First, I will note that you are in Menands, and we'll take the remainder of the roll call. When I say your name, please say you're present and note your present location that is accessible to the public. Board Member Marilyn Amara.
Present, Menands.
Board Member Randall Douglas.
Present, Menands.
Board Member June O'Neill.
Present, Ogdensburg DOL office.
Board Member Michael Greason.
Present, Brooklyn.
Thank you all. Chair Riley, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Well, we can proceed. The next order of business is to review and adopt the draft agenda for today's meeting. Would you please take a moment to read the agenda, which has been circulated and published? Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Marilyn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Proceed to a vote. All in favor of accepting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 Hearing no opposition, the agenda has been adopted. Thank you. Turning now to the adopted agenda, our next item is to read the minutes and adopt them into the record from our January 17th, 2024 meeting.
Madam Chair, I move that we waive the reading of the minutes and accept them into the record as presented.
Thank you very much, Michael. There is a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and adopt them into the record. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, June. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hearing no opposition, the motion is passed, and we have waived the reading of the minutes of the prior meeting and adopted them. Now we go to our next order of business, which is the director's report. And that will be given by Lee Brown, our director.
Thank you. Good morning again. As always, it's nice to see everyone, especially due to the nice weather that we are finally seeing. And because we also have I know we have a lot of really great things to report today, so that's very exciting. To start, our remote hearings continue to be successful, and we are continuing to do our remote hearings on Mondays, and we even have some who have started to try to do some on Friday mornings, so that has expanded a little bit when the opportunity presents. Our virtual hearings was launched statewide on March 4th. I can't speak highly enough of the BSA team and their time and commitment to this project. We suffered a big loss to the team as we entered the hardest part of the project in the fall. And yet our team was resilient, and that team, as Jerry mentioned before, was Paul Homan, Amy Higby, and Nastasia. Paul came in later, and he did a lot more in the background as Amy and Nastasia really pulled their strengths together. It's something that I have not seen from a team, the way they pulled their talents together and really rose to the occasion. It was very uplifting to be a part of that and to lead that team. As we approached virtual hearings this year, the BSA team was thoughtful and strategic in creating training and ample practice in advance of the system rollout. I know Chief Administrative Law Judge Tracy Covey will share some more detail on how the BSA team prepared our judges. The admin also had training and practice. The practice for the admin was to play the role of the hearing attendees to help the admin learn the system with the judges, so the admin could help receive phone calls from stakeholders and hearing participants as need be on with the daily hearings. As a recap, the virtual hearings allows parties to attend their hearings via video or on the phone call-in feature, which they've been doing for years. The system records all the hearings and will be the official recording of the hearings. There is a phase 2 for virtual hearings, which includes language access enhancement and long-term storage optimization. Chair Riley, UIB Manager Janet Covey, and I are working on some customer service metrics. We've been studying the IVR system, which I've reported on in the past, which is our web phone system. We've been using the system reports to align the information available with our core mission. So we're learning that our average wait time on calls does not exceed a minute, which is rewarding and great feedback for the admin team to know that they're able to get to those calls very quickly and alleviate people who are, they don't have a long wait time. It's a work in progress, but we're looking towards setting up some key performance indicators in this area so that we're focused on the customer service side of things. The Unemployment Insurance System Improvement Modernization Project, UISIM, is on track. Our Train the Trainer training started in the fall, and we're going to pick up more of that here in May. We've had a couple of classes in April, but the majority of that will be in May. Our end user training is slated still for the end of the summer, and our user acceptance training and system integration testing continues to progress as expected. Couch Covey and I are working closely to continue moving to the statewide model where and whenever possible with Chair Riley's support. UISIM will be key and tie everything together that we've been working towards. Working with a forward-thinking team and focused on a fair distribution of work statewide and compensate for the workforce shortages make all this possible. It's imperative we create access to hire the best candidates available with fewer geographic restrictions. Recruitment's always a hot topic with the executive team. In staffing news, our judicial and administrative staffing level is presently at 105 employees. I continue to hear nothing but good reports regarding our February new hire ALJs, Yulia in Brooklyn and Stephen in Buffalo, and our first team of legal interns from January, which included Lucas, who's here in Manans, and Kareem, who is in Brooklyn. Lucas will be leaving us this summer, and Kareem will be staying with us and working with Principal Administrative Law Judge Chris Tate and the Hire Authority. While the new hire ALJs are doing great, we are welcoming a 4-member new hire ALJ class on April 25th. We welcome Thomas in Buffalo, Katrina in Brooklyn, John in Brooklyn, and Alexis in Hauppauge. Then on May 9th, we will add Sarah in Rochester to the new hire roster. So we'll have 5 this spring, which is really nice. On Wednesday, April 23rd, as Chair Riley mentioned, we will bid farewell to the esteemed Senior Administrative Law Judge, Ned Maines, who is entering retirement. His retirement is well-deserved, and he will be missed. Also on the 23rd, our BSA 2, Paul Homan, he is returning to ITS for an opportunity, and our BSA intern, Suleiman, is taking an internship at ITS. So we will miss them both, but of course we wish them well in their career growth and opportunities. 30% of the UIAB is retirement eligible, so attrition is expected to continue. Couch Covey has some more personnel details that she'll be sharing with you in her report. The admin team is working on statewide training program to strengthen our statewide model. Studies show that training and development programs lead to retention, work-life balance, increased performance, enhanced engagement and motivation, and workplace innovation. So investing in our employees continues to be our priority, and I appreciate that all of you here today embody this vision. Your ongoing support is invaluable to this work, and I just want to thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you all, and this concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lee. Does anyone have any comments regarding the report? I would like to just acknowledge, Lee, you have been transformational in the workforce, and your leadership has been imperative to structuring a workforce that really is answerable to the values and the qualities that we want to establish. The customer service metric is crucial to serving our states, serving the people in our state and our customers, and knowing that we have certainty, our phones will be answered, that our customers will have to wait less than a minute to have a phone answered, to have an issue resolved in a certain amount of reasonable time. You know, it is very, very integral to who we want to be as an agency, I think, to serve the public in a way that recognize their time is precious. And what we can do to establish that and confirm that, I am very much appreciate your leadership. Now, or if there are no other comments, then I would entertain a motion to accept. Is there a motion to accept the report into the record?
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marilyn. Is a motion before us? All in favor of accepting the director's report and incorporating it into the record, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Hearing none in opposition, the report is adopted. Thank you. Now move on to our next issue on the agenda, and that is the Chief Judge's report to be delivered by Tracy Cuffey.
Good morning, everybody. I am pleased to have the opportunity to provide you with updates on the judicial side of our operations since the last time we met in January, and I can tell you we have been very busy. I will begin with the exciting news. As Lee mentioned, we began holding hearings by video on March 4th of this year. Our BSA team put together a great multiple training sessions for the judges, and allowed them the opportunity to practice with the system every Friday for an entire month before we went live. with the assistance of the administrative staff filling in the roles as parties and judges being on their teams and going back and forth. So we really tested out the system before we went live with it, which was fantastic. This gave the judges the opportunity to become comfortable with navigating the system and made for a very smooth rollout with no major technology issues. And I am one to attest to the fact that how big of a deal that is. With any kind of system conversion, when you can roll it out and it rolls out smoothly, you have to take that as a win. We started slowly the first week that we went live with these hearings and had a reduced calendar for the first couple of days. For the first couple of weeks, and then we increased to full calendar on week 3. We've been monitoring the system, and the switch in technology has not negatively impacted our hearings. We've actually heard from some of our stakeholders that they had concerns before we rolled out the system, but since the system has rolled out, they've been very impressed with it. They like the fact that hearings start on time now, and they really are enjoying the interaction that you can have on video. Our judges have also reported that the system is easy to use and that they enjoy seeing the parties again. Now, since the higher authority's inventory remains low, appeal judges have been holding hearings at the lower authority during the month of April to help us reduce the overall inventory before we start the computer modernization training in May. They have also quickly transitioned into using the virtual hearing system. So all of that is very exciting, and there may be board hearings by video in the future. I have 2 retirements to report. First, Principal ALJ Mark Sokolowski retired at the end of February after more than 27 years with the board. Although it was sad to say goodbye to this dear colleague and friend, we wished him well at a cheerful get-together in Buffalo last month. He reports that he loves retirement and is staying busy with multiple home projects, some travel, and spending time with his family. Senior ALJ Lauren Chatterton in the Manans office has been named acting PALJ and has been filling Mark's role since his departure. As you also know, we say goodbye to Senior ALJ Ned Maines next week after approximately 30 years of service to the board. Ned has made quite an impact on the board over the years, and he will be definitely missed. I know you will all join me in wishing him a long and happy and healthy retirement. Now, turning to recruitment news, Civil Service has expanded the HELP program, or the Hiring for Emergency Limited Placement program, to our judicial positions. This program is supposed to help streamline the appointment process by allowing state agencies to hire diverse, qualified, permanent employees quickly and without having the examinations. Although this program is just starting, we have already seen our applicant pool grow, and we are hopeful that this will continue throughout the years as we post additional judicial positions. We also continue to engage in outreach to the New York law schools. Most recently, we will be reaching out to University of Buffalo and Syracuse University, and we are continuing to look for other opportunities to get the word out about our available jobs. Now, regarding our recent positions, as Lee stated, we had 2 new hires starting in February, Yulia Belishkina in Brooklyn and Stephen DiLorenzo in Buffalo. They have completed phase 1 of their training and are now calendared for daily hearings. I am pleased to report that we were able to offer continuing legal education credit for a significant portion of this round of new hire training. Now, this important step could not have been completed without training coordinator Allison Ferrara, Principal ALJs Chris Tate and Justin Denton, as well as Senior ALJs Will Friedman and Alex Slicko, who helped draft all the necessary CLE materials. We're also very lucky to have experienced staff work as trainers for the new hires, including PALJs Tate and Denton, Acting PALJ Chatterton, Training Coordinator Ferrara, Senior ALJs Allison Schweier, Carol Procopio, June Eagland, Will Friedman, Alex Slicko, and Toyina Kinralabu. ALJs Christoph Wendland and Dawa Jung Acosta also participate in that training, and SLSRs Amy Higbee and Heather Malmberg also participate and teach the judicial staff about technology and how to use our various systems. All of these individuals put in a lot of time and effort into training our new staff, and their work is extremely appreciated. And going back to the CLE credit, this is the first time that we have been able to offer that amount of credit at one time, which is fantastic, and it allows us to continue to maintain our CLE accreditation. Now, we just wrapped up interviews for this round of hiring, and we will be having 5 new people start in April and May, as Lee said. Now, switching gears from personnel to our numbers, I am proud to report that our federal quality review for the fourth quarter of 2023 had an average score of 98.94. This was based on 20 randomly selected cases that were scored according to the 31 federal quality criteria. All of the cases achieved the U.S. Department of Labor's passing grade of 85 or better, and 15 out of the 20 hearings scored perfectly at 100%. It's also, I would note as well that next week I'll be heading down to Washington, D.C. for a national appeals review, which is when all of the states get together and will re-review all of these federal quality review results and in a random sampling. So I'll be spending the week down there next week going over other states' cases. The credit for the continued trend in our exceptional performance in this regard goes to our judges across the state who produce these very high scores, and to our supervisory and our training teams who consistently reinforce the federal quality criteria and our best practices with the judicial staff. We are currently conducting audits for the first quarter of 2024, and I'll report on those at our next meeting. Now, while our quality remains high, and despite our best recruitment efforts, our low judicial staffing levels continue to negatively impact our ability to meet USDOL acceptable level of performance markers at the lower authority. The validated data for February of 2024 shows that the lower authority average case age was 46.9 days. This continues to rise above the acceptable 30-day level. We are also still not meeting compliance with the standards for 30 and 45-day time-lapse markers for our issuance of their decisions, as we are diligently focusing on scheduling the oldest cases first. So a lot more of our older cases are getting out now. We're doing a push currently, but we're still not meeting the 30, 45-day requirements for issuance of decisions. We recently implemented a statewide calendaring system and supervisory plan to strategically utilize our current workforce, and we're hopeful that this will continue to help mitigate some of our timeliness issues when it comes to decision issuance. Now, since our last meeting, we also published a revised bench manual chapter on voluntary quit that is now on our website, and we're putting the finishing touches on the revised misconduct chapter. So that should be on our website within the next month or so. We hope to continue moving forward with this important project, even as a significant portion of our staff will be involved in the new computer system training and testing over the next few months. So we have a lot on our plate right now, but we're continuing to move forward with various different projects. So all in all, I think you can tell that it has been a busy and exciting first quarter of 2024, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to present this information to you today.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Are there any thoughts or comments on Tracy's report?
I do have a question or a comment, perhaps Lee can answer it as well. You mentioned the low recruitment efforts. I mean, we're all part of the same civil service exam, hearing officer for workers' comp or liquor authority. Is that the case?
Yeah, we're all pulling from the same pool. So so it is, we have one applicant pool, and there are a lot of different legal positions open right now across the state in various agencies. So it does feel a bit like we're competing with other agencies to get staff.
Are they facing the same dilemma, do we know, in terms of
They
staffing?
are.
Yeah,
They are,
so it's a
from what I
salary
understand.
issue probably, right?
Yeah, what is the starting salary for an ALJ?
The starting salary for an ALJ is $90,808 currently. And then there is a location pay differential for down in the city, which I think they just raised that, but I can't tell you exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
There also is an issue about the grades, the starting grades for different agencies. But I have to congratulate you, Tracy, on being able to recruit a very good class coming in and having 5 new ALJs. And, we've been consistent, and I think we have had to be creative. We've been going to the law schools. Had a lot of luck with Albany Law, and we hope to establish that relationship with Syracuse and Buffalo as well. CUNY Law, we've been talking to as well, New York Law. So Tracy and the staff has been very proactively, has been working on it as well.
And one thing that we have heard from the people that come on board with us is that they feel more supported here because of our in-depth training program that they get to go through for the first 7 weeks. So just to put the plug out there that we really do take care of our folks that come here as well.
Definitely.
So the way the civil service exam is, I know it's not permanent, it's not, for right now, for recruitment
year.
purposes, so 1 year, and then they have to take the test at that point? or
Unless
no,
they
or it's
extend
just-
it.
I think they become permanent at that
They
point.
become permanent after?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
become permanent at that point, but
So-
then, unless they extend that program, then they'll have to start testing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
But those people that were hired will not have to
They're
take the test, they're already
they're
in.
permanent as of, I think, May 25th, 2025, or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we are still hiring people from the lists as well. So the HELPS program doesn't completely replace the list, it supplements it, so it expands our applicant pool.
So thank you for that, Tracy. Clearly, you have been active, and I'm very proud of everything you've been able to accomplish. One thing that is always clear is that our quality is second to none. Our average score with 98, and having 15 of the 20 criteria there being perfect is a testament to the good work that you and your team do.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for that.
yeah, I agree with the limited staff, the quality of work is there, it's just the amount of work that you can put out, but you don't have the people to put it out, so it's, so kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing no other comments, is there a motion to accept the report incorporated into the record?
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor of accepting the report and incorporating it into the record, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The result is unanimous, and the report is incorporated. Thank you so much, Tracy. We move on now to our next agenda item, which is a report by our principal ALJ for appeals, Christopher Tate.
Thank you, Chair Riley. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to report on several court decisions that were handed down in the first quarter of this year. Matter of Pope was decided on February 8th, and the site 224 Appellate Division 3rd 1039. The court affirmed the board's decision to disqualify claimant from receiving benefits because she voluntarily left employment without good cause. Claimant, one of 3 personal care assistants assigned to a certain client, informed the client that she was quitting because the work was getting to be too much. Claimant, who initially had worked part-time, acknowledged she agreed to take on additional hours after one of the assistants became unavailable, and she continued to work on nearly a full-time basis for several months. Claimant did not express dissatisfaction with her work schedule or request a reduction in hours prior to informing the client that she was quitting. Citing matter of Pabon at 213 Appellate Division 3rd 1114, the court found that claimant deprived the employer of an opportunity to address the situation, and she failed to take reasonable steps to preserve her employment. Citing matter of Brozak at 213 Appellate Division 3rd 1107, the court found that neither generalized dissatisfaction with one's working conditions, salary, job duties, nor workload constitutes good cause for leaving one's employment. The next case is matter of Moquette, and that was decided on February 15th, and the site is 224 Appellate Division 3rd 1074. Here, the court affirmed the board's decision to disqualify claimant from receiving benefits because she voluntarily left employment without good cause. Claimant, who worked as a cashier for a financial services company, was informed by her employer on December 14th of 2021 that due to a New York City Department of Health mandate, all employees who worked in person or interacted with the public were required at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccination by December 27th of 2021. Claimant failed to get the required vaccine and was informed on December 28th of 2020 that she could no longer continue her employment. The court noted claimant's contention that she was reluctant to get the vaccine because of health concerns, specifically that she had experienced chest pains in recent months. The court found that claimant did not provide her employer with any medical documentation supporting her claim or excusing her from getting the vaccine. Citing matter of Parks at 219 Appellate Division 3rd, 1099, the court found that substantial evidence supported the board's decision. Matter of Mena was also decided on February 15th, and the site is 224 Appellate Division 3rd, 1069. Here, the court affirmed the board's decisions holding claimant a doorman and bottle host to be an employee of a hotel that contained a bar and nightclub. The court found that claimant was required to stand outside of the nightclub and, using a reservation list provided by the company, escort those people with reservations into the club where the waitstaff would serve them. Claimant was provided with a radio headset. The company's general manager would monitor the amount of people inside and check the line outside, telling claimant to either let more people in or stop doing so until the crowd thinned out. Additionally, claimant would approach people outside the club and attempt to sell them a bottle of liquor that included a table for four in the club with bottle service. The company set the price of the bottle of liquor and the table that claimant provided. Claimant and the company negotiated claimant's pay rate, and the company set his schedule. Claimant was required to punch a time clock when he began and ended his shift, and he filled out a spreadsheet created by the company each week reflecting the days he worked that week. Claimant could perform bottle host work for others and could refuse to work a shift, but he had to request time off from the company in advance and inform the company if he was running late. Citing matter of Anwar at 114 Appellate Division 3rd, 1114, the court concluded that substantial evidence supported the board's finding of an employment relationship. And the last case is matter of El Hanan Wholesale Nursery, and that was decided on March 7th. The site is 2024 New York Active Lexus 1237. The court affirmed the board's decision holding the company was liable for additional contributions on remuneration paid from 2014 to 2016 to non-citizens or H-2A workers authorized to work temporarily as agricultural laborers under the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. The court noted that while the appeals on this case were pending, in 2019, Labor Law Section 564 was amended to exclude from coverage employment services of H-2A workers. The court rejected the company's contention that the exclusion should be applied retroactively, finding that the effective date was postponed to January 1st of 2020, and that there was no clear expression of legislative purpose to justify a retroactive application of the statute. The court found that the H-2A workers' services were covered under Labor Law Section 511 and rejected the company's contention that an employer's liability for contributions on whether employees are eligible to collect benefits. Finally, the court upheld the board's valuation of housing and utility remuneration. The court noted that the auditor's assessment of the value of housing and utilities provided to the H-2A workers was based on fair market rent, as published by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, as well as the rates on the auditor's personal utility bills. The court noted the company's president's testimony that the values of the housing utilities were lower than assessed by the auditor, but found that the president did not offer documentation to support his testimony. Citing a matter of Exotic Island Entertainers at 135 Appellate Division 3rd, 1087, the court held that the board's assessment of the contributions owed was correct. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Chris. As usual, you've presented a really very broad overview of some of the issues, the types of issues that we face that are so important to us, whether it's talking about vaccine issues or citizenship issues or the H-2A visa issues. This really does demonstrate the breadth of the scholarship that goes into the work here. And I have to commend you, Chris, on sharing that with us today and establishing that standard. So many thanks. Are there any comments on the report issued by Principal ALJ Christopher Tate? Hearing none, then is there a motion to accept the report and incorporate it into the record?
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, June. Thank you, June. All in favor of accepting the report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And that is, the vote is unanimous. The report is accepted, incorporated into the record. Thank you. Come to our next issue on the agenda, which is new business or other business, and we have no other business. We have no other business to present, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marilyn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you. The motion to adjourn is accepted. Thank you, and we are off the record. Thank you so much.
Heidi, can you cease recording but keep the WebEx on?